Welcome back to another episode of the Bear Trap on the Boomer Bust channel, a Bears podcast by a Bears fan. I'm your host, Terry, and today we are looking at the run defense versus the Indianapolis Colts in our Week 4 defeat. With all that being said, let's go ahead and get it started. Let's just get right into this film. And every time I should have just restarted this thing. Think I would learn my lesson, but not always. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and look at the run defense, which I think did a pretty solid job. There was times we weren't as stout, but there's many times I think we did a good job. So this is 1st and 10 in the first quarter. So we're going Jonathan Taylor's runs, who was their main carrier. Just a little gap play, and as you see, not a big gain. We're in our base front, and fun fact, all but one of Jonathan Taylor's carries were on 1st and 2nd down. Because originally I was going to look at 1st and 2nd down, but that's all he really had. So good job by Urban holding up the double team. Who is 97? Mario Edwards. So good job by the front here, first and foremost. It was a little interesting to see Edwards switch gaps like that, but I guess he felt a little bit of his own. Fought off that double team. Trevathan punches against the tight end, and really Urban does a good job holding up against that double team. And it wasn't much room for Taylor to go to. So really just a good job of being stout up front and attacking the blocks and not giving up ground. I knew that was going to happen too. Lost my control. So 2nd and 7. I think this is the play right after. Let's see here. So they got 3 tight ends. And that's interesting. I mean, I guess that's just really a counter, some type of counter. Ends up being a decent game or a modest game. But he ended up falling. Could have been a little better play. So let's see. See what we got. So they're going to the perimeter. Everybody's stepping down. I guess technically, well, it's not really a split zone. It's more kind of like a counter. And so Jalen Johnson at least does a good job staying to the outside so that this doesn't bounce and making Taylor come back up. And you see he loses his footing a little bit. But still, good tackle. That's Eddie Jackson, I believe. Now, the problem is Roquan is like 10 yards downfield trying to run around the block. And that's a big issue. As good as Roquan was this game, that's the type of downhill play that you need in order to really effectively stop the run. But yeah, it's kind of one of those misdirection plays whenever you're doing these type of counters that you want the defense to step one way. So everybody's going to move. They're going to step and they're just going to pin everybody. And I would say Jalen Johnson did a good job, but also Eddie did a real good job outrunning his block and being a presence there. So 1st and 10, we're in the second quarter now, which is interesting. I mean, I know they ran a lot, but I guess there's other backs we could have looked at because we know they ran much more than this. Let's see, another modest game. Looks like he got 3 yards. And really just the inside zone. Khalil Mack blows that up pretty well. And this is the same issue that we've seen when we tried to run these plays, especially last year. Khalil's just going to knife inside, and that completely destroys the momentum of the zone. And Taylor does a good job getting around it, but really there's nothing but defenders there. So Khalil Mack single-handedly blew that play up. And again, Khalil's frustrating because he has that talent. Like, I wouldn't be frustrated by Mack if he didn't have the talent to be consistently great. So we got 4 on the line. It's first down. And we got all type of destruction going on there. Look like another inside zone. They got a tight end on the line as well. Yeah, so it's an inside zone. I mean, first we got a good job here. Not sure who that is. I think that's Edwards. Yeah. So that's Nichols. That's Edwards. So you got a good job by Edwards here, not letting the momentum carrying him down, because when you run the inside zone, they want to hit it up this B gap. And so that's where they really want to go. He does a good job stringing it along and staying in that gap, which forces it back, where both our linebackers do a pretty good job. And actually, so Buster does a good job as well, because effectively he's the play side linebacker here. And you're going to see him punch against Quentin Nelson. He's going to punch, at least get himself there. So that's not an option, and that forces the cutback. So that's a good job by a screen right there, especially against Q. He wasn't even scared. I like it. 2nd and 11. We're in the second quarter. Looks like we're going to have our first run out of the shotgun. And pretty good gallop there. Sound like an announcer now. Pretty good gallop. But it looks like we're going to run a weak zone. So they're going to go to the weak side and just hits the cutback. So let's see where our cutback player is. So, well, here's one of the things. So the way we're lined up, because they got trips, we're spread out now. This is our play side backer. And our play side backer is really out of the play side. He's already backside. So we got 2 people that's really, this is the play side, so he's fine. This is the play side backer. And really, you just had an overcommitment. Is that Roquan? Looks like that's Roquan. Looks like 50 for some reason. And part of that is the alignment. So you can see we got a 3 technique here. We got 2 technique here. So both A gaps are open. And so when the flow comes, he's going to flow down this gap. But now you got Roquan filling the A gap. And so the whole play side is shut off, but the backside is now open. And Gibson does a good job at least coming up, but then doesn't do a good job of breaking down and making that tackle. And really, I mean, he filled the alley softly. He's not a strong safety, but comes up and, again, just loses footing and gets outflanked. And then Robert Quinn, I actually think he got a horse collar call for that. I mean, that was good feet and good power by Taylor. But really just the backside pursuit was a little over aggressive. And we didn't really have our edge defender because you wanted Quinn to be off that block, but he was being occupied. So, again, we get a little – I always forget if it's 24 or 28. I was never into those numbers. But these are essentially gap plays. We got 3 tight ends. So these are essentially gap plays where they're trying to. That one looked like it was supposed to go up the A gap. And Taylor just using his speed because we did a good job of occupying the middle. We're in our base defense. So again, good double team. Now, part of the problem is that's a bit of a hole, but who is that? Edwards again kind of cuts down out of his gap. And this is where you got to be gap integrity because so Edwards is here. And if he stays here, we're good. But he crashes down, and that kind of reduces one gap so he's able to bounce. I mean, really, you still should have been able to get that from the second level. But that's part of the reason it starts to bounce. And really, Walters, you got to get off this block, bro. Like, at the end of the day, you got to get off that block. And Gibson has terrible angles because Trey Burton is going to block two people. And you already saw this happen to Gibson once. So Burton is going to block Jalen on the edge. And now Gibson's going to take himself directly into Burton and gives him a 2-for-1. This is where the second, third level communication has to be. Because regardless of what Edwards does or what Walters does, linebackers, you got to make them right. And safeties as well. So now he's crashing down. Now you got to start replacing. As he's replacing here, you got to go outside. Just bad angles. Whenever you get somebody getting to the edge, it's bad angles. Because unless you blitz, nobody should really be able to do that to you. So 1st and 4, still in the second quarter. In the white zone. I think he barely got back to the line. So it's a split zone. They're going to zone right, block the edge back. I think that's Roquan. It's hard to tell. Might be Trevathan. But it looks like we filled the gaps well. Well, not exactly. I mean, we did, but Roquan and Trevathan went the same way. That could have been bad. Because you're going to have Roquan step up, but then Trevathan is also going to come that way. And it might have been called. They might have been doing a blitz. Yeah, it's hard to see from here, but that got completely blown up. You got Robert Quinn coming down the line, doing a good job. At least not giving up space. So 1st and 10, third quarter. Out of the shotgun. Negative yardage. Look like another counter or split zone. Yeah, it's a split zone. I mean, good job by who is that? Akeem Hicks. Also bad job by the Colts. That was just a bad double team. I mean, Akeem does a good job taking movement, but they were supposed to peel here and they didn't. They just let him go, and so Trevathan was able to make that hit. I mean, that's really all it was. He was unblocked. 1st and 10, way later in the third quarter. Three tight ends again. out of a bunch. They do a stretch. And just losing sight at the end of the play. But again, when we talk about the edge, man, somebody didn't do their job, even with 3 tight ends. So they're doing a stretch. 97 does a good job. Backside does it, and Walters gets lost. I knew it. I was like, it's going to be Walters or the corner. Walters just gets lost on the block, gets turned around. Now, my question is, Jalen Johnson, where are you at? You can't stand there, bro. Look, you like 5-6 yards downfield, and you just got blocked, which you got in the way of other people. Jalen, you got to maintain the force. A good corner, a smart corner I can pause it, but at this point you would be up here, because once you get up here, there's no place for him to go but into the teeth of the defense. But Walters gets turned around. There's no force player, so able to get some positive yards when it should have been a loss. All right, 2nd and 5, third quarter. Inside zone. Pretty modest pickup. About 3 yards. In our nickel set. And I think that's Akeem Hicks. Yeah, just the play side does a good job of congesting that. Not a lot of movement here. Or on the edge, so really forcing the cutback. Then backside doing their job as well. So Akeem, they cut that down. I mean, it's a good job by Taylor getting some positive yards. But for the most part, good play side. And it's interesting that they ran both sides. I think we did a good job on both sides, but if I got Nelson on one side that's the opposite of Hicks, I'm running to that side. Inside zone all day. So got that 3 tight end look again. Same play, hits the cutback. Not sure what the flag was, I don't remember. Actually, it's not 3 tight ends this time. It's a receiver out there. Oh, no, it's 3 tight ends on the other side, duh. We're in our base. We got Mingo out there. Not a fan. So, yeah, we're just going to... I don't even know if that was inside zone. Oh, they called the face mask. Looked more like a gap play to me. Yeah, we got that combo there. I mean, 92, 98, Hicks, everybody just doing a good job of holding their ground. I think there's a little bit of over pursuit to the play side, which left the backside open. And yeah, that's Roquan goes all the way, scrapes all the way over the top. Now, see, in those situations, you got to read it a little more. You got to be a little more patient and be ready for the cutback. But yeah, you'll see Roquan just hits it. And everybody's doing a good job standing at the line, but then when he cuts back, there's no linebacker there. And so you get the face mask, but you get Eddie Jackson coming up, doing a terrible job of trying to make a tackle, but still, minus the penalty, a pretty good job. 1st and 10. They motion over to that 3 tight end look again, which is smart. They got the bodies. Now this one they run a power, and that was all on the corner. Or the safety. I could remember. I remember seeing this live. I mean, because it wasn't bad by Fuller. Fuller did not shy away from the contact. He went and met Q. He went low, obviously, to blow it up. But the problem with that, again, is you lose the force. So you can meet the pull, but when you meet it up here, you still got all this space outside. And you see all these pursuit, all those backside defenders. So as a corner, you want to get the puller as to come chase you out as far as possible so that the running back has to pull it up. But yeah, they run a nice little power on us. And this is a great play actually out of this formation because the edge is going to be blocked here, really secured. They're going to pin it all down, pin these guys down. Trevathan still gets around and everything. But yeah, if the corner is just a little wider, that forces the ball to come back to the linebackers. And I remember in the live, I was like, yeah, he wasn't scared to get it, but you gotta be a little further out. So 2nd and 9, fourth quarter. I feel like we did all the runs already, but still more. They got that bunch trips look. And I remember this. Quinn Nelson got beat by a swim move by Bilal Nichols right off the line. I'm not even sure what type of run this was. It might have been an inside zone, weak inside zone. But either way, I remember watching it live. You're going to see Bilal get busy. Hey, even the greats get beat. Whoop. So he's going to slip backside and just make a great play, which is also made by Khalil Mack. So don't get it twisted. If Khalil Mack is getting washed out, then Bilal Nichols is just behind the play and they keep going. But Mack holds his ground, and it's a zone, so they expect you to ride the wave, but Nichols goes backside and makes a really nice play. All right, 4th and 1. Obviously an important down as we're trying to make that comeback. And straight dive up the middle. Let's see what we got. We got all the big boys in there. We don't have Khalil Mack. That's interesting. I mean, it's tough with 1 yard to go. You didn't have really any penetration. The linebackers, I mean, that's that thing with Roquan again. So you're going to have this double team on 95 now. Y'all have to read that. So right now, gap, 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 gap. So Trevathan has this gap here in between these two. And so when they reduce down, or sorry, actually, he had the B gap, but when they reduce down with that double team, y'all got to make a choice. Roquan, if you're going to get over the top, you got to get over the top, but and part of that, I mean, it's tough because with tight ends, you got a phantom gap, and that's the definition of one. When you insert somebody there, that's that phantom gap. Because right now it's gap here, gap there, gap there, gap there. But they probably went this way. Yeah. Roy Harris, we want to see a better take on that double team where he's not washed down, but it is what it is. All right. I was about to say, this isn't loading. 1st and 10. Oh my God, it's stuck in slow motion again. It's done that before. I don't know why. We got 3 plays left. Just grinding the ball out. All right, here we go. 1st and 10. Got 3 tight ends to that side. Run that same zone. And we do a real good job. Negative yards. Or at least no gain. Urban does a real good job on the tight end, pushing the penetration, and that just stops the flow. I mean, but that's the thing. When you're going up against tight ends, that's what I expect my defensive linemen to do. Too many times in this league where they're able to hit you is because you're letting one person get occupied by a tight end. All right, 2nd down. We want to see more of that outside zone, more so than the inside. Ended up cutting it back. Got 4 yards. And as you can see, we got a real heavy front. We got 6 on the line. And that becomes really the issue. I mean, he could have went for more. The real issue is, like, when you put that many on the first level, you take away somebody on the second level. So as you got Roquan trying to play the play side, not able to also play the backside. And that's good vision by Taylor to get those two caught up. I think this is the last play. 1st and 10. Same little misdirection or little gap play. Short game, but winding down the clock. And again, I think, as I mentioned, just a really good job by the front. Overall, like, even when the run plays didn't go our way, I just think overall, really good job by the front. I haven't seen us that stout in a long time, and especially against the Colts, I didn't think that would be the case. But we were extremely stout as far as not giving up space. And so huge impact on the defense and being able to stop the run when we were able to, because our defensive line were able to hold their ground. Some of the perimeter play, mostly with our backups, not really with Mac and those guys, and definitely with our corners, understanding our force rules. That hurt us, and then our linebackers and our safety is our angles. So really, you know, the second and third level was really hurt us, but the first level, the front, did an excellent job. But I think, and I'll hopefully get a chance to look at Phillip Rivers' passes, I think while we did a solid job against the run, it was Phillip Rivers' passes that really made the difference, especially being able to convert. So anyway, that's it for me. Go down to the comment section. Let me know what you think. Share it around. Get the conversation started. Remember, stay up and bear down.